Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Yashodanandana Brajadanarandana Yashodanandana Brajadanarandana Jamana Tira Vanasari Jamana Tira Vanasari Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Swayam Vishupad Paramahamsa Pri Bhradgacharya Stotra Sapta Sri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhai Charanarvind Bhakti Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skandi Biti Founder Acharyas Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Haryam Sankirtan Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Dainitai Gauru Pimanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada Ki. Darshan, is that what time?
No,
Huh?
no, time is 6:31.
No, what time normally darshan, Arati?
Darshan after that 8:30. Have to
Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Vinditam Jena Vidanga Siddhi Samadhi Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhuttale Swayam Rupa Padamahyam Tadasi Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Parakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakam Scha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayana Rishi, the Supermost Human Being, unto Mother Saraswati, the Goddess of Learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya lokasya Dhanyam swasyayanam mahat. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Siva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Sarabhyay Namaha Om Sarabhyay Namaha Om Sarabhyay Namaha Mukam karoti vasalam pangum langayate girim Yakripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Yakripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Hare Krishna. So, any translation needed? No. Okay. Okay. So, I'd like to welcome everyone to the morning program from Mangalarti. Not everyone attends Mangalarti all the time, so it is part of our Vedic culture. Mangala means auspicious, so we begin our day in an auspicious way by rising early and attending program. And today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is from canto number 11, chapter 18, which is entitled Description of Varnashrama Dharma. And today's text is 48, right?
47.
47. Okay. Text 47. And we will also read text 48 because 48 is the last text of the chapter, and that verse doesn't have any purport. Okay, text 47 for those who can follow. Varnashrama Vatam Dharma Esha Achara Lakshanaha Sa Eva Mad Bhakti Yuto Nishreyasa Karaha Paraha Varnashrama Dharma Esha Achara Lakshanaha Saeva Mad Bhakti Yuto Nishreyasa Karaparaha Varnashramatam Dharma Esha Achara Lakshanaha Saeva Mad Bhakti Yuto Nishreyasa Karaparaha Varnashramatam Dharma Esha Achara Lakshanaha Saeva Madbhakti Juto Nishreyasa Karaparaha. Someone?
Varnashramatam dharma
Varnashramatam dharma
Esha achara lakshanaha
Esha Achara Lakshanaha
Saeva mad bhaktito
Saeva Madbhakti Yuto
Nisreyasha karapara
Varnashramatam dharma
Varnashramatam dharma
Esha achara lakshanaha Saeva mad bhakti yuto Nishreyasa karaparaha
Varnashramatam of the followers of the Varnashrama system. Dharma, religious principle. Esha, this. Achara, by proper behavior. According to the authorized tradition. Lakshanaha, characterized. Saha, this. Eva, indeed. Madbhakti, with devotional service to me. Yataha, Yutaha, conjoined. Nishreyasa, the highest perfection of life. Karaha, giving. Paraha, supreme. Translation and purport by the followers of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Those who are followers of this Varnashrama system accept religious principles according to authorized traditions of proper conduct. When such Varnashrama duties are dedicated to me in loving service, they award the supreme perfection of life. Kind of repeat after me. Those who are followers of this Varnashrama system accept religious principles according to authorized traditions of proper conduct. When such Varnashrama duties are dedicated to me in loving service, they award the supreme perfection of life. Purport. According to the Varnashrama system, now it's time to Sravanam here. Yeah. According to the Varnashrama system, the members of different orders and statuses of life have many traditional duties, such as worshipping the forefathers to save them from possible sinful reactions. All such Vedic rituals, sacrifices, austerities, and so forth should be offered to the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. They then become the transcendental means for going back home, back to Godhead. In other words, Krishna consciousness or loving service to Lord Sri Krishna is the sum and substance of progressive human life. And as mentioned a little earlier, there is one more text, the last text to this chapter, which doesn't have purport, so I will read this. Etat te bihitam sadho bhavan prishyati yaschamam yatha swadharma samyukto bhakto mam samiyat param. Translation. My dear saintly Uddhava, I have now described to you, just as you inquired, the means by which my devotee, perfectly engaged in his prescribed duty, can come back to me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus end the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the 11th canto, 18th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Description of Varnashrama Dharma. So you've been reading this chapter, is it?
What?
You have been reading this chapter?
Yes.
Okay, so you're finishing reading the chapter today, I guess. Yes. So this whole chapter is a conversation between Lord Krishna and Uddhava. Uddhava was very, very close, intimate associate or friend, associate. Actually, it is said that Uddhava looked a lot like Krishna when when Uddhava was sent to Vrindavan after Krishna had left, after many years, Lord Krishna, understanding that the residents of Vrindavan were feeling naturally great separation from him, he decided to send Uddhava with a personal message. Krishna actually wrote a letter. They were writing letters at that time and delivering by hand, not like today. So Uddhava had traveled all the way to Vrindavan, and it's nicely described that nobody actually knew he had arrived in Vrindavan because he came on his chariot in the latter part of the afternoon. And so then one may question, well, if he arrived in the latter part of the afternoon, why didn't anyone know he had arrived? And what is the answer? Anyone know what the answer is? Very interesting answer. So he arrived not at night, in the day, but at the end of the day. But he arrived when the cows were coming back from pasturing. So when the cows, so many cows, huh? How many cows in Vrindavan? 9 lakhs, 900,000 cows. So when 900,000 cows walk together and return, so it's called padaduli, the dust from the feet of the cows makes like dust, and it's like fog, you cannot see. So at that time, Uddhava arrived, and they only found out the next day. The gopis came to know, and of course Srimati Radharani also. And in the beginning they thought, is this Krishna? Because he looked so much like Krishna. They thought, maybe Krishna has come. And Krishna had chosen Uddhava because Uddhava was very, very close to him. He could understand his heart, and he chose him to deliver this very personal message. It was a very personal message. We read about it actually in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Uddhava, while reading, is described that when he was reading this text to the gopis, in some portions he couldn't read. Why he couldn't read it? Because when Krishna was writing this very personal note to his most beloved gopis, some tears fell on the paper and in this way washed off some of the ink, I guess, whatever system they had. So when we have a close friend like this, we generally speak, we only speak actually confidential or very intimate subject matters to close friends. We don't talk everything, we don't say everything, we don't disclose everything to ordinary people, isn't it? We open our heart and we reveal our mind to those who are very close to us. So one of the topics that Lord Krishna spoke about is described here in this chapter dealing with Varnashrama. So in one sense, we can and should understand that the topic of Varnashrama is also a confidential topic. It's not only the pastimes of Krishna with the gopis in Vrindavan, it's not only the topic of pure devotional service, it's not only the topic of Krishna Prema that is very confidential, and it is also so many aspects related to what is meant to be the ideal, natural lifestyle. And Prabhupada makes reference, or the text in itself actually, the text is making reference to what is called authorized traditions. In every country there's so many traditions, but not, we say we should follow tradition. This is not actually accurate. We should follow authorized tradition because some traditions are not good, isn't it? People, very often they will have some habit and they will continue such habit, it will be carried on by others and it becomes like a tradition. But here it specifies about authorized, bona fide traditions. So when we speak of tradition, we should know we're speaking about authorized, bona fide traditions. What is bona fide and what is authorized is what is mentioned in Shastra, isn't it? What is bona fide, what is authorized, has to be in line with the principles of Dharma. Because Dharma is Sanatan. We speak of Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan means eternal, isn't it? So this Vedic knowledge, this knowledge of Sanatan Dharma, and also that means this knowledge of Varnashrama Dharma. Varnashrama Dharma is part of Sanatan Dharma. It is not some, as we sometimes hear, some scholars, some so-called scholars, they think that Varnashrama was introduced a few centuries ago. It was invented by the Brahmanas to exploit common people, because the Brahmanas are respected, highly respected in society, so everyone is meant to follow the Brahmanas. So some people say, yes, the Brahmanas, they invented the system so that everyone could give them money or follow them, whatever. But actually that is not correct. Here we see Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and speaking on this subject matter. Another great personality, one of the 12 Mahajans, previous to this 11th canto, in the 7th canto, some of you may have read, and if you have not yet read or studied this section of the Srimad Bhagavatam, from the last 5 chapters, from chapter 11 to chapter 15, Srila Narada Muni. Narada Muni, one of our greatest authorities on the principles of Dharma, he is very nicely elaborating, explaining in detail, this time to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj is already such an exalted personality. He is knowledgeable about Dharma. He is the son of Jamaraj. He is expansion of Jamaraj. And therefore he knows about Dharma. But even he is always eager to hear from such great sages as Narada Muni on the subject matter. That means that even great personalities like Yudhishthira Maharaj want to hear more details. It means the subject matter is a very involved and very confidential subject matter also. So this chapter has been especially in the beginning, that is explained, dealing with 2 of the 4 ashramas, Vanaprastha and Sannyas ashram. Of course, all of the ashrams, every single ashram, from Brahmachari ashram, Grihastha ashram, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, they're all very, very scientific ashram. Actually, everything we could say about Vedic culture is very deep subject matter. Cannot so easily be understood. So the point that is explained here in this verse is that this is also part of what we call Swadharma. What is the meaning of Swadharma? Swadharma means what is original, natural, isn't it? So what is important to understand is that we have two levels or two dimensions of dharma, of Swadharma. And both of them are very scientific and both of them are very eternal. Both of them are eternal and very, I would say, confidential. They're so confidential that, especially in Kali Yuga, it's extremely difficult for people to capture, to understand what is so special about spiritual Swadharma, that is one level, spiritual Swadharma, focusing especially on activities of bhakti, devotional service, like the chanting of the holy name, like performing puja, isn't it? Like reading and hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam, like offering Tulsi Puja. So many activities are there that are connected with what is called spiritual Swadharma. And Krishna explains actually in the Bhagavad Gita that this knowledge is very, the knowledge he's giving to Arjuna is very deep knowledge, is very confidential knowledge. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram, Idam, Uttamam, highest, the purest and the highest knowledge. Similarly, knowledge about what we call material Swadharma is very confidential. What is material Swadharma? That is you could say, more detailed information about Varnashrama Dharma. That is why our founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, spoke so extensively about what is called Varnashrama Dharma, which is meant to be our material, we could say, way of living, our material occupation, our prescribed duties. Vedic culture is speaking about prescribed duties. Prescribed duties means what is recommended. Most people in the world today are not actually following Vedic prescribed duties. And because of the world in which we're living, see, what is the meaning of prescribed duties in the context of Varnashrama Dharma? We can begin by briefly describing prescribed duties in terms of spiritual Swadharma. Prescribed duties in terms of spiritual Swadharma are all activities in relation to bhakti, all activities that are pleasing to Krishna. That means that if we don't know about Krishna, if we don't accept Krishna, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we cannot perform bhakti, isn't it? And if we don't perform bhakti, then we cannot actually please Krishna. So, some siddhi haritoshanam. In the Bhagavatam it explains actually that of all perfections, the highest perfection is to please Krishna, isn't it? To serve Krishna, to please Krishna. By pleasing Krishna, by serving Krishna, we automatically also become pleased and satisfied. So, in other words, there are so many different activities that we perform spiritually that are meant to please Krishna. That is spiritual Swadharma. And that was summarized nicely by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jiver Swarup Hoy Krishna Nityadas. The eternal Swarup, or identity and activity of all living entities is to become humble servants of Krishna, to engage in Krishna service. So that is, in one sense, more easy to understand. More easy to understand because that has been especially nicely and in great detail explained by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Goswamis of Vrindavan. We have something very unique. We means those who are followers of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. We have these 6 Goswamis. They're all very elevated personalities who had completely left all material activities, had gone to Vrindavan. How many of us can just leave everything and go to Vrindavan? And they live for the rest of their lives in Vrindavan, following the orders of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to deeply study the subject matter. And in this way we have all of these wonderful books, such as Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, and so many books. The Goswamis of Vrindavan altogether, they wrote hundreds of books. And most of us, we never get to read all of those books. But the essence, of course, Srila Prabhupada has given us the essence of these books, especially Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Upadeshamrita. If we read these books, these 4 books that Prabhupada has given us, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Nectar of Devotion, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. These are the 4 most important books for all of us as Vaishnavas. And of course, even to read those 4 books, it takes a long time. We have a whole lifetime. So in addition to the spiritual Swadharma, what we need to understand, because it's not only Narada Muni who speaks about Varnashrama Dharma, Krishna himself, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, speaks about the importance of tradition, authorized tradition. And authorized tradition has to do with lifestyle. And it's important. Prabhupada spoke about this quite extensively. Why? Because in our modern way of living, we have forgotten. We have, in so many ways, actually deviated from what is meant to be the authorized traditional lifestyle. What is the authorized traditional lifestyle in terms of material swadharma? It is directly connected with nature, Krishna's nature, material nature, we call Mother Nature. It is also directly connected with cows. Cows, cow is one of our important, very important, actually first mothers. Then the land is also mother. And the third mother, which is described, is knowledge. By knowledge, just like now we are hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam. By hearing attentively, we can get some little understanding, isn't it? Proper understanding how to properly utilize our lives, how to avoid activities which bring about karmic reaction. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains about what is called bad karma and also good karma. Prabhupada explains both good karma and bad karma, both are bad karma. So wonder how good karma can be bad. Good karma is also bad because good karma means we will get some positive reaction, but it means we have to remain in the material world. So any activity that keeps us in the material world is not good. Even performing, like people who perform pious activity, they may get higher birth, or they may go to a heavenly planet, but that is still in the material world. So the whole material world is Dukalayam Shasvatam is a place of misery, isn't it? So therefore, it is only when we are greatly fortunate and come in contact with personalities like Srila Prabhupada and all the previous Vaishnava Acharyas, we come to know that it is not sufficient simply to perform so-called good activities or pious activities. We must come to the level of devotional activities. Just like in the Nectar Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami speaks about 3 kinds of happiness. Very important for us to know. He speaks about the first level of happiness, which most people only know about this level of happiness, that is called material happiness. Actually, the whole world today in modern day society is simply mad, running around madly, like mad people, trying to experience so-called material happiness, which is described as chapala sukha, flickering happiness, temporary. It cannot satisfy the heart of the soul. Then there is second type of happiness called spiritual happiness. That spiritual happiness is also not perfect when Krishna is not there, isn't it? When we don't understand about Krishna as being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though we practice spiritual life, that is not complete. The full happiness, the real happiness, is referred to as devotional happiness. It's also described as Premananda or Sevananda. Seva. Seva means service. We speak of devotional service, so that type of happiness is eternal happiness. So within Varnashrama Dharma, those activities connected with cows, those activities connected with the land, those activities connected with purifying and elevating our consciousness, when they are all performed for the pleasure of Krishna, all of those so-called material activities also become spiritualized. When we offer and perform these activities for Krishna, then that also becomes devotional activities. That also becomes bhakti. This is nicely explained by one of our foremost acharyas, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is described as the 7th Goswami. There are 7 Goswamis who appeared 500 years ago, during the time of Lord Chaitanya, and then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who appeared in the 19th century and lived, I think, till about the early 1914, is when World War II actually began. So he wrote many books. One of the important books he wrote is called Sajjana Toshani. Sajjana Toshani. In that book, he makes very important statements regarding Varnashrama. For example, he tells that all activities in Varnashrama, when they are performed for the pleasure and satisfaction of Krishna, those activities do not create karmic reaction. They are as good as devotional activities or devotional service, isn't it? So that is the meaning of authorized tradition. Actually, the majority of people and the majority of devotees also were not living according to authorized tradition. Because authorized tradition means the majority of our young boys, like him and others also, they would be cowherd boys. They would be, yeah, if we read the description, what is taking place in Vrindavan? Vrindavan is that place. The village of Vrindavan is authorized tradition. And what do young boys do when they are, reaching the age of 6 or 7? They are given the responsibility of looking after the calves. So Krishi, agriculture, and Goraksha, looking after cows, is actually meant to be the standard. That is meant to be the authorized tradition. So the more we are far away, the more we are removed, the more we are disconnected with that tradition, it means we're disconnected with the Vedic culture. We should try to understand this, you see. The more we are engulfed, the more we allow ourselves to be part of this modern way of living, which is not actually based on the principles of Dharma, then it makes it difficult for us to practice both materially and spiritually our Swadharma. Swadharma, once again, is existing on the spiritual level and on the material level. So, of course, it is not easy to return or to re-establish or to revive that authorized tradition, but we should know that one of the purposes, very, very often this is not, I would say, sufficiently clear, but Srila Prabhupada made it very clear if we read attentively the many instructions given by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada wanted us to revive that authorized tradition of living depending on the land. So we can begin to do this. We were meeting many of the devotees yesterday and mentioning that, in your home, even though you're not maybe living in the country, because country life, village life, that is authorized tradition. City life, as we are knowing today, that is not authorized tradition. Try to understand, It is not that the Vedic culture is against cities, because there were cities, Dwarka was there, Hastinapur was there, Indraprastha was there. There were cities, but those were Vedic cities. Where do we find Vedic cities today? Isn't it? All our cities are not following the Vedic principles, rather the opposite. The cities in the world today are places mostly of sinful activities, isn't it? Everyone is engaged in all kinds of nonsense activities to a large extent, and simply working like donkeys to get more and more money. That is the mood and mentality we call, economic development, because we have this false, misleading understanding that the more we make money, the more we'll be happy. This is a wrong understanding. The sooner we have this clear understanding, then we will not simply pursue so-called material advancement. Material advancement, whatever may come our way, is already established or determined according to our karma, according to providence, according to destiny. We will have so much wealth in this life. We will have either good health or bad health or mixed, whatever. These things are already determined, so they should not become our main preoccupation. Our main preoccupation should be to develop our higher consciousness, our spiritual consciousness, our devotional consciousness. And Varnashrama is actually this more natural lifestyle, connected once again with cows and land, is helping us more easily, more quickly. Prabhupada even uses the word, is helping to accelerate our becoming devotees. If you want to actually accelerate your development of good spiritual qualities, if you want to more quickly advance in Krishna consciousness, then we should live, all of us should live according to authorized tradition. You see, so we need to understand it in that way, and that's why more and more devotees, those who are beginning to understand, they will try to at least wherever they are living, they will try to grow a few plants, maybe of flowers in their home, to at least once in a while offer real flowers, real original flowers that are grown from the hands of devotees. Krishna is especially pleased when from our own hands we do things for him. isn't it? That's why in the Vedic culture, not only we are meant to grow our own food, we're also meant to make our own cloth. How many here are making their own cloth? Not many, nobody actually. But actually Vedic culture, why? Because this clothes we're wearing now, this clothes is not natural clothes. It is it is in so many ways, we think it's very nice, we go to the store or the brand new cloth, but actually all the brand new cloth that we purchase, the textile industry in the world is the second largest polluting industry in the world. And most of our cloth is mixed with all kinds of chemicals and synthetics. It is not pure. And therefore, like this, our food is not pure, our cloth is not pure, our buildings also are not. We follow all kinds of systems that are actually impure, that are not based on dharma, you see. So many things are there. Those are referred to and nicely explained by Srila Prabhupada. That's why we need to hear on a regular basis what Prabhupada is trying to tell us. And we need to deepen our understanding of these two aspects of dharma, spiritual swadharma and also material swadharma. Both are actually very deep subject matters. Both are actually very confidential subject matters, and unless we are giving the necessary time, giving the necessary attention, then all of this will just go over our head. It will come in one ear and go out in the other, and we will not be able to make, tangible spiritual progress. So within our society, in the last 3 months, for example, I've been traveling to different countries speaking on this subject matter. Main subject matter can be easily and nicely summarized in make Vrindavan villages. That's a very important theme that Prabhupada spoke about as well. And make Vrindavan villages means literally to actually reconnect or revive our Vedic villages. I'm part of one village in Canada. Anyone been to Canada yet? No? Anyways, you don't have to go to Canada. It's probably better not to go too far away nowadays. The whole world is in total chaotic situation. But we have a very large project in Western Canada, and I always like to tell people that I am very proud to be a member of that village. I was not born in a village. How many of you are born in village? Raise your hand. My God, Hare Krishna. You're all fortunate souls, but your misfortune is that you have left your village. Prabhupada one time was asking, what is the definition? This is a very important question, especially for our young people. Our young people have to listen to this question. Hey, I want to hear from them what is the answer. Prabhupada one time asked the following question. Hey, here, I have to hear. He asked the following question, and you kindly try to answer. Someone asked Prabhupada actually, what is the definition of intelligence? Huh? What is the definition of intelligence? Now you have to raise your hand if you think you know the answer, and we'll start with our younger generation first to find out. If somehow they cannot give the answer that Prabhupada gave, then we'll ask our more wise older folks, and they may or may not know actually. So if somebody is asking you, what is the definition of intelligence? What will you answer? And what did Prabhupada answer? That's the most... What did Prabhupada answer? Anyone? It's a tricky question. Not so tricky, actually. In the context, I already explained. Anyone? Yes?
Intelligence means what is good or what is bad.
What is?
Good or what is bad.
What is good and what is bad. That is not the answer that Prabhupada gave. Yeah. You'll be able to understand immediately. Anyone else?
Just to follow the Krishna.
To follow the Krishna. So what does it mean specifically in the context of our class, in the context of this chapter on Varnashrama? What does it mean to follow Krishna?
Simple living, I think.
Huh?
Simple living, I think. Simple living, I think.
Simple living, high thinking. Okay. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Yes?
Knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Knowing-
and we are the soul and part and parcel of Krishna, and our constitutional position is that we are
You are too philosophical. That is all correct. That is all correct. We have to, there are a whole big series of books that are called conversations. All the conversations recorded, so many hours of conversations, I think thousands, all recorded. And when you read these conversations, I think not yet translated in Telugu. So Prabhupada, he always had like a very unusual answer to all kinds of questions. Answers that you would probably, most of the time, never think about. So here is Prabhupada's answer to the question, what is intelligence? Prabhupada said, intelligence means not to leave your village. Oops. Intelligent means not to leave your village. Something went wrong there. Karmic reaction. We carry karma in all different species of life. Because Krishna is telling, this is authorized tradition. Living in village is authorized tradition. Not living the way we're living now. So that means we're not following Krishna. Mm-hmm. So it's not a hopeless situation, fortunately. We can begin on as much as possible. We were telling yesterday how we should only utilize, as devotees, we should only utilize cow dung based incense. Because every day we offer incense on the altar. So here in India especially, there are many devotees who make natural dup. And when we utilize that incense, naturally we cannot but remember Krishna because it's cow dung. Cow dung is coming from the cows, Krishna's beloved cows. And the aroma is actually very nice and very healthy. Yeah. We can should also use soap that is made from cow dung. There are many what we call panchagavya products. We should be utilizing it. When people were living in village, automatically they were living and utilizing so many different natural products like that. So now we are using incense that is full of chemicals, we're using soap that is also full of chemicals, and we wonder why we get sick, Our food is not proper, our living style is not proper, so many things. So therefore, we physically and also mentally, so much of stressful conditions are created. Okay. I don't know, somebody carried a small container a few minutes ago. This is called non-verbal communication that Maharaj is sent in the class. Yeah. Maybe any question on what we have heard or discussed? Short question.
How to reconnect our authorized traditional?
How to reconnect? Well, I just mentioned a few practical ways. Actually, Prabhupada, he wanted that as many of us as possible actually revive. We Prabhupada from the very beginning created and encouraged devotees to live in communities. We are meant to live in communities of devotees, and the best place to live in communities of devotees are where we can grow our own food, where we can look after cows, and we can have milk to give to our children. Not the commercial milk that is sold today. Commercial milk today is sinful, and it is not healthy. The opposite, actually. Ladies are meant to cook with ghee. How many of our ladies are cooking with pure ghee? You can buy ghee nowadays, but most of the ghee is not pure. It is adulterated. We're buying adulterated ghee, we're buying adulterated milk, we are purchasing adulterated food, and so we can begin on a small scale by doing in our home, wherever we are living, and Prabhupada wanted that every temple we have should have not too far away, within 50-kilometer radius, actually some land where we grow our own food. This is the natural way, because this whole modern civilization in which we're living, it is very artificial, not natural. And it cannot, I was just reading yesterday, the day before, in one purport, Prabhupada is telling that, he's talking about different empires. The Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, the Mongol Empire, the British Empire. We know a bit more about the British Empire. The British Empire, and nowadays we are living under what is the American Empire. The American Empire has been, was started approximately 200 years ago, at the beginning of what is called the Industrial Revolution. And so Prabhupada explains, and we can verify this in history, most empires, they last between 100 and 200 years. And at the end of 200 years, finished. We are at the end of this 200 years, practically speaking. Prabhupada said 50 years ago, I think it was 1974 or 75, that this multi-civilization, after 50 years or so, it will come to an end. It's still going on now, but at what cost? And we are destroying. Here in India, we had to cut down so many banyan trees to make our superhighways. Very unfortunate. So there are different ways. We can learn more what we can do by contacting. We have devotees who have a ministry here in India, having its base in Mayapur. It's called IDVM, ISKCON Daiva Varnashram Ministry. We are promoting, Prabhupada is promoting, our Vaishnava Acharyas are promoting what is called Daiva Varnashrama. Daiva Varnashrama means that Varnashrama system where divine activities, where all activities are performed for the divine pleasure of Krishna. Means bhakti. Everyone is endeavoring to become a devotee of Krishna. And there is, I'll just finish since you're asking the question. We have one special book. It is Prabhupada's statements on, what is it? On what is, it's called Speaking About Varnashrama. So we have this book available in digital form here. It is hiding in this card. And if you have it on your phone, how many have this on their phone? Some of you have. How many don't have this on their phone yet? Raise your hand. Those who don't have this on their phone can come and see me, and within 15 seconds, you'll have it on your phone. And you have access to so many digital books, especially this one book, which is, I'll show it to you right away. There's a section here called ebooks, and in the section ebooks, there is this one, speaking about Varnashrama. The whole book is there, 350 pages approximately. So I've been giving freely this book, or access to this book, in the last 3 months, and already we have over 9,000 people, devotees from all over the world who have downloaded this. So you are now getting opportunity as well, and there are other books as well. So if we hear directly from Srila Prabhupada, it will be more easy for us to understand, okay, what we can do in a practical way. Okay? Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Gaura Bhimanandi. Thank you.
Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj ki.
Okay.